and I have to accept. There we go. Okay. I think we're going now. We're recording now. Thank you so much for catching that, Simon. And so for people who are watching this recording, I just got into our info session today by giving a little bit of background about who I am. I work in the Learning and Teaching Center at BCIT and am acting as the program head for this new Associate Certificate in Polytechnic Teaching. Yes.
Sorry again, Michelle. Once you start the recording, everyone's camera is turning off. So please remind everyone to turn on the camera again.
Yeah, you can turn your camera on or not. It's okay. If you like to turn it on, please feel free to do so. Great. Okay, so.
And you'll need to share your screen again.
Oh, goodness. Here we go. Okay. And if I haven't mentioned it before, we're still fairly new to starting to use Teams. So we're still just figuring out how all of that works. So thank you for your patience. Okay, so a little bit of background about the Associate Certificate in Polytechnic Teaching. The purpose of the program was really to support people through a pathway towards educator competence. And so the thought of this program sort of began several years ago, and at BCIT, we teach a workshop that is called the ISW, which stands for the Instructional Skills Workshop. And this is a workshop that is 24 hours long. It's kind of this short but intense workshop that really focuses on very foundational, basic instructional skills. And maybe some of you have heard about this before. It's offered not only throughout Canada, but throughout the world in both educational settings like colleges or universities, but even in some professional settings as well. So when we delivered this at BCIT, we would often hear from people, oh my gosh, the ISW was fantastic. I learned so much. It changed the way I think. And I want to go deeper. I have more questions. There's so much more for me to learn. And so it was really with those early conversations that we began to think, it would be great if we could offer additional courses that would allow people to go deeper, to dig deeper, and to continue on the pathway towards building their educator skills. And as well as taking that feedback from people who had taken the ISW, there was also this acknowledgement that at BCIT particularly, we know that people who come to teach at the Institute are in fact people who are subject matter experts in their field. So there's no, question about it. They are the experts in automotive or in engineering or in healthcare. And they carry this huge amount of knowledge about their subject matter area. And there's a recognition that when you come to BCIT and you start teaching, that in fact what you're doing is you are embarking on a bit of a career change, or if not a career change, you're embarking on an addition of a new career, and that is in teaching and learning. And so to acknowledge that is for us to then want to create something that will be a pathway of support to help people in that new career that they are embarking on, to help them build those skills in teaching and learning that's going to really help them to achieve educator excellence. So that was how we kind of came to the idea of creating this associate certificate in Polytechnic Teaching. And we have 6 courses that we teach into it that begin with that ISW that I referenced, which is all about the foundational instructor skills, but then going a little bit deeper into instructional strategies, teaching with technology, assessment, online teaching, and as well reflective practice. And there's a URL at the bottom here that you can see where you can go to get more information about each of those courses. There's our instructor teaching online. So, as I just mentioned, the program consists of 6 courses. And so here, this is kind of a visual of our program map. So you can see that there's 6 courses. You can see that there are 5 courses in the first tier. And what this really is meant to convey is that these 5 courses are kind of all on the same level. And so we recommend that you begin with Poly 1005, which is the instructional skills workshop, but then you can take any of the other courses in that tier in any order. And all 5 of those courses are prerequisites for our final course, which is Poly 1030, which is a reflective professional practice course. And that's because everything that you learn in those courses in the first tier build towards this reflective practice course. And so that's why those are prerequisites for that. In this graphic, you can also see the credits that are assigned to each of the courses. And so overall, our program is a 17 credit program. The delivery of this program was really designed with our key target audience in mind, and that is people who are professionals. So it's people who are already working. Maybe you are working in your field, or maybe you are already teaching at BCIT or another institute or another training institute. But the idea is that we imagine most of our participants are going to be working. And so we wanted to design our program to fit those the needs of those participants. So therefore, the majority of our courses are blended. So what this means is that some of the classes are in person and some of the classes are fully online and what we call asynchronous. So asynchronous meaning you do it on your own time. There is an exception. Our Fostering Learning Online course is in fact delivered fully online, and the ISW, which I referenced earlier, is actually delivered in all 3 formats. So fully online, fully face-to-face, and blended as well. But all the other courses have this blended approach, again, to really facilitate the fact that people are going to be working. Also, the majority of our courses are 3 credits. So you also saw that the ISW is 24 hours, which means it's 1.5 credits, but the rest of our courses are 3 credits, which means that it's 45 hours of what I would say is class time. So again, some of that is going to be in person, some of that is going to be online, but the expectation is that you're going to be doing about 45 hours of class time, plus maybe a little bit of time to complete your assignments. So, I think this is important to make sure that that's clear up front. It's, achievable. It's an achievable amount of work over a couple of months, but it's also, not something that's that can just be done kind of like, quickly on the weekend. The expectation is 45 hours of class time. The other thing about the delivery of our program, it was originally offered to BCIT faculty and staff. So those are people internal to BCIT, but we're very excited that beginning in fall of 2024, so this September, we are now opening the program to external people. So anybody who is external to BCIT. So again, our target audience is people who are experts experts in some kind of field and who are looking to gain experience and training to teach in a hands-on experience, a hands-on experiential way. All of our courses are offered via what we call at BCIT, we call it flex learning. It used to be called part-time studies, but the idea is that the courses are offered in a schedule that is going to fit working participants. So that will be mostly offered on evenings and weekend. And again, the exception is the ISW, and because the ISW is a little bit shorter, we are also able to offer that during daytime. So there's lots of options to suit your schedule. If you are available for daytime hours, you could join. But if it suits you better to do evenings and weekends, we also have offerings for that. The other great thing to mention is that our new program is articulated with VCC's PIDP, which stands for the Provincial Instructors Diploma Program. And this word articulation, it basically means that we have an agreement with VCC whereby we agree to offer credit transfer between our two programs. So if you've never heard of the PIDP before, as I said, this is the Provincial Instructors Diploma Program, and this is a bit of a bigger program. It's a diploma, so it's 30 credits, and it does a little bit more of a deeper dive into the skills connected with teaching and learning. It's 30 credits, whereas our program is 17 credits. So we think that one of the really nice things about the Poly program is that it becomes a really nice laddering opportunity. If you want to get your feet wet and you want to just test things out and see, is this teaching pathway really for me? And is this the direction I want to go in my career? Doing the BCIT Poly program is a great opportunity to test it out, see how things are going, learn things from a very practical perspective. And then if you want to continue on towards a full diploma, there's this opportunity for you to transfer your credits into that other program. And so you might then ask, well, why bother coming to BCIT? If I can do this other bigger program at VCC, why not just go to VCC from the start? And I think one of the really big and important key differences between the PIDP and BCIT's Poly program is that ours teaches from a very applied learning, hands-on, experiential way. So when you teach at BCIT or when you teach at any other Polytechnic Institute or any kind of like trades training, the teaching and the learning tends to be very experiential. You're not just thinking about things from a theoretical perspective, but you take theory and you apply it. You look at what does that look like when hands-on? What does that look like when I actually apply it to the situation? And so what we teach is how we teach. So we really want to support teachers to learn how to teach in an applied way. And therefore, in the Poly program, we teach in that same applied way. So I think that it becomes a really beautiful opportunity to model the type of learning that we are promoting. And so if what I'm talking about excites you, you think, hey, this sounds like a great fit for me. This really sets me down the pathway that I'm looking for in my career. You can go to the URL that you see at the bottom of the page here to learn more about the courses and see what's being offered in the upcoming term. And then once you're ready to register, what we are asking is that people first reach out to the or the email address that you see at the bottom of the screen here. So it's develop@bcit.ca. And this is because our administrative assistants need to be able to process people, since we're accepting both internal and external people to BCIT. We need to make sure that everybody's filling in the correct paperwork. So we ask that you first reach out to develop@bcit.ca to facilitate your registration. And if this does sound like the right program for you, we really hope that you will join us soon. So we begin offering our program to people external to BCIT in September of 2024. And we're going to be offering 3 different courses in this coming term. So the first is Poly 1005, which is that ISW that I've mentioned. And we're actually going to be offering 8 offerings between October and December. As I mentioned, they're 24 hours each, and we're going to be offering them online, blended, and face-to-face. So there's lots of choices there. The other 2 courses are Poly 1015, which is assessment of learning, and Poly 1020, which is teaching with educational technology. And each of those are 8 weeks long. And so because of the time frame that they're a little bit longer, there's only going to be 1 offering of each of those, and they are running from September to November. And also both of those are blended courses. So again, that means some classes face-to-face on campus at the Burnaby campus at BCIT, and then some online learning as well. And that is where I will take a pause, and I will just see and ask if anybody has any questions about the program or any thoughts or comments you'd like to share.
Michelle, this is Brian. What are the entrance requirements for the program?
Excellent question. Very good. So we don't have entrance requirements in the sense that you are required to have them. So that word requirements. Instead, what we have are entrance recommendations. And so these are things that we really recommend that you come into the program with, because they are going to help you to be as successful as possible. So high school graduation is necessary. You need to be proficient in English in order to be successful. And then in addition, we recommend that you have a number of years of experience working in your field. And that's because I think that it's important to have a foundation in your area of expertise before you move into the teaching of it. And part of that is so that you're not learning what you want to teach. You can then focus on how to teach. And then the last recommendation is that you have a desire to teach, if that's the pathway you want to go on. If you're somebody who is sort of, you're not really going to be teaching, maybe you're going to be doing workshops or facilitation or things like that, you may still find value in some of the courses, but really the target audience is for people who really want to pursue a teaching pathway. And so that's the real focus. And I think that those are the people who are going to get the most out of this program. Any other questions?
So just one other question then. So I don't need to be in a teaching job or role at present when I sign up for the program.
That's correct. Yeah. It's the recommendation is that you want to teach. If you have teaching experience, I think that it will make your experience richer. but it's not a requirement.
Could you tell us a little bit about the cost?
Excellent question. Oh, that's catching me off guard here for a little bit. You know what, I actually would have to go back and double check because I don't want to speak out of turn. But the cost is listed on the website. So the URL that I shared earlier, which is it's bcit.ca/poly-technic. At that URL, you will find the current pricing for all of our courses. And like I said, I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I would rather just direct you to the website to be sure.
Can you complete this program quickly, or is there a time limit?
Another excellent question. We have a 5-year limit for completing the program. So that means from the time that you take the first course, you need to be able to complete your final course. If you'd like to receive the associate certificate, you need to complete it within 5 years. But it's totally up to you what that scheduling looks like. So if you want to take 3 courses this year, no courses next year, and then another course the following year, that's fine. It's totally up to you to fit your schedule, but beginning to end needs to be completed in 5 years.
Thanks.
Thanks for asking. Excellent questions.
I'm asking about the ISW or Poly 1005. Is it the only experiential learning experience in the program?
All of the courses are designed and delivered in a very hands-on and applied way. So maybe that depends a little bit how you define experiential learning. But for example, the flow course actually has you leading sessions. So in that sense, that's also very experiential learning. But even the other courses, for some of the assessments or some of the assignments, you may be asked to actually do the thing that you're learning about. So all of them are very applied. And again, depending how you define experiential, they could also be defined as experiential.
So the ISW or is not a capstone kind of course or project?
No, in fact, the ISW, so as you said, Poly 1005, it's actually the beginning point because it is very basic foundational skills. And in all of the subsequent courses, you actually go deeper into the topics that you learn about in the ISW. So it's definitely not a capstone, it's a beginning place. And then you continue on from there and you continue to go deeper and deeper, ending with that reflective piece where you then really think about your teaching practice, think about your teaching philosophy, think about what you've learned and wrap it all up. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Are the courses guaranteed to run frequently over the 5 years? So, for example, if somebody takes a break, how can they be assured that that course is going to run again so that they can complete their credential within the 5 years?
That is an excellent, excellent question. Yes. Because our courses do require a minimum number of students to run. It's not a very high minimum, but there is a minimum of, at least a few students to run. And so if there is not enough registration for a course, it could be canceled. However, the intention is that we will be offering every single course at least a couple of times throughout the year, with the exception of the reflective practice course, since it requires so many prerequisites. That one may run less often, but the others, the intention is that we will be offering them a number of times throughout the year, to try to make sure that there are enough offerings for people to meet the 5-year threshold for completion.
Great, thank you.
These are excellent questions. Thank you, everybody. Anybody else? Questions? I'll end on this slide here. So if there are no other questions, maybe we can stop the recording, but I thought I will still stick around until 6 p.m. since the session was scheduled to go that long, just in case there's people who pop in a bit late and might have questions. So I'll give one last invitation for any questions before we stop recording.
Thank you, Michelle. That was an awesome overview.
Thank you so much, Nanda.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming, Cherie.
And Mariella's our new colleague in ETS. She joined 3 days ago.
Oh, wonderful. Good.
Yeah, awesome that she can be here.
Thank you, Nanda. Thank you for putting me in the spot.
Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to learn about us.
Yeah, actually, I'm taking the Provincial Instructor Diploma program already. I finished 2 courses already.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Well, you might be really interested then in seeing if you could take some of the courses over here at BCIT just to kind of get that, that Polytechnic perspective. You might find that really useful.
Yes, exactly. It was exactly. I'm interested, especially in that last course that you mentioned about technology.
Oh,
That
yes.
is my new, yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
this one is my main goal, but it's my 3rd day, so I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Perfect. Well, yeah, you should definitely reach out to develop@bcit.ca, or you could reach out to me as well, because people people who are internal to BCIT have a slightly different registration process. So I would love to walk you through that. And the technology course is being offered in September. So hopefully that timing works out for you.
Yes, I'm just finishing my second course now in the beginning of July. I think it will be July 14th. And then we'll take a break because I just joined BCIT, so I'm learning as much as I can.
Yeah.
My current role, but then my goal is to start something in September. Yes.
Awesome. Great. Well, I look forward to connecting with you.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Have a great day. Oh, night. Sorry. I'm lost here.
Thank you so much, Mariella.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
So Simon, I think let's stop the recording.